This is Sean. Get rid of that there. Pop myself up here. Federal Prison Talk. I'm going live. I got a number if you want to call in. I checked everything. I think the technology is working with me tonight. I'm an old guy, but I probably knew about cell phones before. We'll get into how old I am. How many presidents have I lived through? Not 47, so I'm not that old. But anyways, thanks for joining, guys. So I was on the BOP website, like I've been all week for guys. I've been calling prisons, and we're going to call a couple tonight too. There's a lot of people that are watching the show because they're going to go to prison one day. They're on federal pretrial, and they're like a non-violent one, so you get out. And I was out 4 years on a bond. It's a $50,000 bond. I didn't put up no money, so they'll have your family sign. My family said, "Hell no." You know how many times he's been in jail, rehab? He's on his own. They still let me out, but I had to go do this drug program, hardcore attack therapy one called New Bridge. If you ever heard of like Delancey Street, they call it a mini Delancey. And oh, man, I hated that place. Today, I liked it. I mean, I love it. There's miracles that happen. I'm one of them. So you can go to prison, guys, get out of prison, and have a better life. And it's kind of maybe what the show's about most of the time. Because I like to tell people, if you're calling me and you're on pretrial, you're not going to the penitentiary. They don't let you. Those guys are locked up the whole time until they go to trial, if they go to trial. If you take something to trial in the feds, good luck, man. You might win. I met a guy I went to Florence Federal Prison Camp, has 3 other prisons around it. Met a guy, it's his 3rd or 4th time. He had won. It was his first time in prison, but he had won 3 or 4 indictments. We'll get into a diamond, how fair that is. But he took his case to trial 3 times at least and won every time. All these lawyers spent all this money. And I go 3 times. I go, well, what are you doing there now? He goes, see, they don't give up. They keep coming and they keep coming. They might wait 2 or 3 years. I mean, look what they do to Trump. And they keep coming and coming and coming. Finally, you're fired. This Comey guy with the pebbles on the sand and the 47 and 86. Come on, really? This guy had it in for him in the beginning. So you find out who your real friends are. He didn't even have to go to prison to find out who his real friends are. It's funny. Oprah Winfrey loved the guy. They joked around, I don't know, 15 years ago about him running for president. She was going to be vice president. She was all, but y'all be your vice president. We'll run together. Now she can't. Now she hates him with every moral essence of herself. How do you do that? Just in an instant, you hate somebody. Wow. I think that's a narcissist, maybe. I've been learning about them. Anyways, let me pull up the article. I titled the show. Let me pull it up here, and I'll share it with you. Let me share the screen here. Let's see, share the screen. There's a button here. Stop sharing, but I'm not sharing anything. Oh, replace the screen. Okay. Let's see if this works. All right. No? Maybe if I do like this. I should be sharing, but it's not. So let's see what I'm doing wrong, guys. We'll try this one more time. Man, I've been practicing this. It's supposed to show me. There we go. But nothing's on there. All right. I'll do it. I'll make this work. Come on. Anyway, so I'm going to read it for you here in a minute too. But it's about Federal Bureau of Prisons issues directive to expand home confinement, Advanced First Step Act. So let me guys tell you about home confinement. You're still an inmate in your home, right? You think, oh, great. Well, everybody thinks that that's probation that runs the home confinement, like especially guys who go to the federal prisons and I'm getting out. I'm going straight to home confinement. You don't tell them what to do. For one, they go, I ain't going to no halfway house. Well, if you're going to home confinement, you are going to a halfway house. The halfway house runs home confinement. See, halfway houses fill up. And when I was in, you had to pay 25% of your income. You had to find a job. They give you 2 weeks or 3 weeks. And then if you didn't find a job in 2 or 3 weeks, they told me, well, you're going to do community service. And we have a lot of people waiting for you. You'll do 8 hours a day. You miss any day's work or anything, you go back to prison. Well, can I just do it for? You don't know. You don't get a second chance to go find a job while you're doing community service. You're gonna do your whole 6 months, work for somebody for free, 8 hours a day. I go, at least I got 12 cents an hour when I was in prison, and I did that. And you're gonna give me nothing. And they told me you'll have a bill that we will hound you with for the 25% of. Well, you don't know how much I. How do you charge me 25% of an income? I see if I made $20 an hour, but I get nothing an hour. How are you gonna? Anyways, I found a job. Okay, now they don't charge. So, because before they would send people out on home confinement, they still got to pay the 25%. And then they have more beds inside the halfway house. They could charge them, and now they just get a flat fee for everybody. The thing is, home confinement, the halfway house has to have the staff to go to your house once a week, twice a week. They're gonna, and if you not don't have your own house, you're gonna stay at your grandma's, your wife's. Okay, they can't have alcohol in there. If you're stay with your grandmother and she's got a wine collection, you can't stay with her, or she gets rid of the wine. They don't care. No alcohol in the house, no drugs, of course. So they come and they check for a lot of things. And then they're going to call you 3 times, 4 times, 5 times a day at 4 in the morning. And if you don't answer that phone, you get maybe 10 minutes to call them back. And here comes the marshals. They take you back. You got to fill out a pass for everything you do. You want to go find a job, you better have that in permission. If you stop for gas, because you'll wear an ankle bracelet when you go to home confinement, and they see you very often. You got a flat tire. Those marshals come to get you. You better be sitting there with that flat tire, right? You want to get gas, and they don't hesitate to send you back. Hesitate. It's you will be a prisoner in your own home. Yes, it is still better than the halfway house, and it's still better than prison. But just remember, there we go. It popped up finally. Just remember, a home confinement is not run by probation; it's run by the halfway house. And they're not in. There's not a lot of halfway houses everywhere. Like guys from Hawaii, they got to do their time in San Francisco. There's no halfway houses in Hawaii. So there was guys. I was in San Francisco. Guys lived in Fresno, and how Diaz, a guy I know, he lived in Bakersville. And for some reason, I guess he could have went to L.A., but they don't have a halfway house. They had one in Fresno, but they had to shut down. So if you there was guys they live up in the mountains of California, and they can't have home confinement because there's nobody there to go check on them. So the home confinement officers work for the halfway house, right? So and also it's a lot of stuff. But let's read this. Let me see if I can make it bigger. Let me check this chat room. Got anybody in here real quick? Alrighty. So, and there's a number there if you guys do want to call in. I will answer the phone, and I'm not going to screen you. I'll hang up quick if you're a weirdo, but I got no. I don't care. Nobody's done that. I don't want no crazies. I had one pedophile call me up once. Guy, well, I only had it on my computer. I told him off, and because you guys know how I feel about that. If you don't, watch the channel. Yeah, I was raped when I was 5 years old, guys. So I say it because my therapist says it makes me stronger, and it kind of does. So men are talking about this kind of thing now, guys. So for immediate release, maybe I got it too big. Oops. Let's see, a little smaller. I want you guys to be able to read this. Maybe we'll read it together. Let's see. It's just a couple pages, and then we're gonna try to find some other stuff on. Is this really the truth? I'll talk about. We're going to call a couple prisons because you're going to be surprised how many prisons are closing down right now. I was really surprised. Ones that aren't even listed yet. I had the guards who answered the phone tell me when I call up a prison, like for somebody on my channel, I found out instead of trying to say, "Oh, I'm calling for my friend," once I got to turn myself in. This time I called up and I got all these certificates. I told them I'm a social worker, certified peer support worker. With a nonprofit, and we're trying to update our books. We got clients on federal free trial, and they're getting ready to go to prison. Can you help me out? Do you have RDAP there? All kinds of questions, and then they're real nice to me. It's kind of a trip, and I'm not lying. And when I tried to lie, I didn't get answers. Really? So it's like they respect it. Anyway, so let's see. Washington D.C., the Federal Bureau of Prisons, BOP, or let me lower it a little bit. or the Bureau. Anyways, they have announced a new guidance from Director William K. Marshall III directing staff to expand the use of home confinement for eligible individuals under the First Step Act, FSA. And pretty much, unless you have violent charges, you qualify. Although Audrey, who went to, she has her own channel too. The Fed Phoenix. I think it's Fed Phoenix 2. She had Fed Phoenix 1 before she went in, and she'd been on a show before and after. And she got out. She couldn't get her passwords and get in, so she came out with Fed Phoenix 2. And, I might have links, but she went to Alderman. Alderman, the one where Martha Stewart went. And she got denied all her First Step Back credits because she had some fentanyl charges of selling them. And I forget if she worked that out or not. So, like, they don't like the fentanyl right now, and if you get caught, I don't think you can get the First Step Back credits for that. I got to talk to Audrey about that. But there's certain people can't get it, but most can. So back to this reading thing. The directive is rooted in the principle of a smart, fair criminal justice reform. Excuse me, reform that began when President Donald J. Trump. I voted 3 times for him. Before prison and after, and yes, felons can vote. Okay, I voted twice in California and once here in New Mexico, and felons can vote. Okay, there's a couple states want you to pay restitution first. Texas, Florida, we're going to get you next, but you can vote. Okay, don't let this stop you. Anyways, uh, a reform that began when President Donald J. Trump disrupted entrenched political paralysis and signed the FSA into law, delivering the most significant overhaul to the federal justice system in a generation. So I was still locked up when he did that, and I got a month off my halfway house time, but I had the RDAP. I got a year off, and then then they the so I get out, and it's funny. I get out of prison, and I was going to tell people, what's it like being locked up? Well, you'll find out in about a month. The pandemic's going to hit, and you're all going to be locked up. I didn't say that, but it's pretty much what happened. The whole world got locked up, and I'm all, how you like me now? Anyways, and then that pandemic, the timing, he's running again for president. Well, how can we stop him now? Let's make the whole world go on lockdown. Conspiracy, maybe. This latest policy reinforces the Bureau's responsibility to uphold the law and ensure that eligible incarcerated individuals, particularly those who do not require transitional services at residential reentry centers, RRCs, are transferred to home confinement as soon as statutorily possible. I've heard of statutory rape, but this is statutorily possible. And this is written on the BOP website. I don't know how much that guy gets paid. This approach not only honors the bipartisan vision behind the FSA, but also reflects the commitment to give second chances to those who have paid their debt and are ready to safely return to their communities. This is nothing new. They've had a Second Chance Act. They've had they had the CARES Act. They had Compassionate Release Acts. This is okay. So right now, I'm kind of upset. See, I wanted to wait and read this with you guys. I'm seeing nothing new, but let's read on. President Trump said he would fight for the forgotten men and women of this country, and he sure is. Okay, and the First Step Act proved he meant it, and this was passed, I think, in 2017. Said Director Marshall. That's not the new director, is it? I think it is. Okay, anyway, let me read it. President Trump said he would fight for the forgotten men and women of this country, and the First Step Act proved he meant it, said Director Marshall. Now we are ensuring that this reform continues to work, not just as a policy, but as a promise to Americans seeking redemption and a path forward. This was all in quotes. The new directive continues the following exceptions for staff. The new directive outlines the following exceptions for staff? Expectations for staff. Guys, these I still got them from prison 5 years ago. Fucking call them Jomo glasses though. I think they're at $4.25 on the commissary books. I bought in these dollar stores. I break every glass, but it was well worth it. So now I can read, guys. The new directive outlines the following expectations for staff. First one, home confinement is a priority for individuals who are eligible and do not require the structured support of an RRC. So that means they don't home confinement. Let me read it and then we'll recap it. RRC placement will be reserved for those with the greatest need. The next one, use of conditional placement dates. Unit teams must use FSA and SCA conditional placement dates based on projected earned time credits FTCs expected to earn to guide pre-release planning and ensure accurate and timing referrals. And I'm going to go over what they mean. Clarification of statutory authority. Staff must distinguish between FSA and SCA eligibility criteria, applying time credits appropriately and understanding the limits of each statute, particularly when determining duration of pre-release custody. There is no restriction, it's underlined, concerning how many FTCs may be applied toward home confinement. And if that sounds confusing, it's not to me. I'll explain all that. Individualized referral process. Decisions will be based on each person's needs, support systems, and readiness for reintegration. Yes, you have to be ready. Some guys aren't. Oh, they always say they are. This directive builds on the success of the First Step Act, which has helped individuals return to their communities with a recidivism rate significantly lower than the national average. I heard somebody at the door. So I got sidetracked. It recognizes that real lives have been changed and communities made safer. Proof that smart reform and public safety can go hand in hand. The Bureau remains committed to the rule of law and the fair treatment of all individuals in its custody. um, as President Trump has shown in both word and action, second chances are not just possible, they are necessary for a justice system worthy of the American people. This directive is a critical step toward continuing that legacy. In President Trump's second term, the promise of reform will not only be preserved, it will be completed. So I don't know who the journalist who wrote this is hired as a third party or subcontractor for the Bureau of Prisons website or this U.S. Department of Justice Federal Bureau of Prisons. It's almost like they're combined now. They used to never talk to each other. But anyways, regardless of that, that's another video. They're making. I mean, it sounds like this guy voted for Trump. So let's get into. Let's see if there's any questions. We'll get into what all this means. Okay, I read all this, and this is like immediate for immediate release. It almost sounds like they're going to make them do the job they were supposed to do, and I've heard that one before. So I'll go over this one by one. Uh, yeah, and we'll just go like that. Okay. I'll read the first paragraph. We'll talk about that. Washington, D.C., the Federal Bureau of Prisons has announced a new guidance from Director William K. Marshall the third, directing staff to expand the use of home confinement for eligible individuals under the First Step Act and Second Chance Act. Second Chance Act, they've had that for a while. The directive is rooted in the principle of smart, fair criminal justice reform that began when President Donald J. Trump disrupted entrenched political paralysis and signed the FSA into law, delivering the most significant overhaul to the federal justice system in a generation. So what happened when he signed that bill? Guess what happened in my prison? Everybody talked about it because we get to watch the news and stuff. When you ask your case manager or you ask your counselor or if you even ask the warden or maybe one of your teachers, there's real teachers there. Nobody knew what it meant, right? What's his first step back? Can I get him? How do I get? Well, we don't have any programs here like that. Nobody's told us nothing. We don't know what to do. So let me tell you how when you're in a federal prison, I was in a building. I had some pictures. I got pictures. Well, here's one. Let me pull this off the wall. Oh, there's the other one. And let me explain this to you. So that's RDAP. 2019, we graduated. Let me see. Get that in the middle there. I could pull it up on the computer, but Let me just show you. Hey, all the guys in the picture, I didn't ask their permission to show it. Oh well, sue me. But that's an RDAP class. RDAP is a residential drug abuse program, which I taught last year at the federal halfway house here in town, and I'm hoping to do it again real soon. Um, a lot of fun teaching. Five years later, I'm teaching RDAP. Wow. So when they passed this act, none of the staff knew what to do. And when you get to prison, I'm in a building of about 200 people called Teller Building and the Summit Building. Each building holds about 200 people. It has 2 floors, has 4 ranges on the first floor, 4 on the top, based on like X's, right? Hallways. Each hallway had 16 different cubicles in it, 8 on each side, 2 men to each cubicle. The first couple might had an extra bunk bed in case they had overflow, but nobody ever really had to use a bunk bed. So if you watch my video the first day of prison, you get it. They say go talk to your case manager and find out what bed you're in. And sometimes you check in, there's no case manager. He called in sick that day. She did. So then you'll go probably talk to somebody, another case manager for another building. We had 3 case managers for 400 inmates. Okay. What do they call them? He was always he sounded good in his speeches, and they make you speeches. They have little functions, and they tell you what they do. There was 2 women and 1 man. There was a younger woman. I only met her a couple of times. She would bust her ass for everybody to get them. I got 10 months halfway house. Damn, I wish I had her. Um, a lot of these guys, worked at Walmart, applied for the prison job, and got it as a case manager. And I think a lot of them kind of want to help people their first couple of years when they get there. Then they get burnt out. And, I've done case manager work here since I've been out. You can't get burnt out, and the phone never stops ringing, and sidetracked here and sidetracked there. And did you do my pay? I get it. And overworked and understaffed and treated like shit by some guys. So if you're going to prison and you're going to a camp or low, these guards, these case managers, the counselors, they're not the prison guards. They train them those duties. I mean, even the nurse and the doctor have to know. They go to training camp. They kind of have to have the basic skills, but they're not correctional officers. Well, they kind of are, but like they kind of are and they kind of aren't. The case manager, you're not going to see that guy stopping a riot and stuff, although you may. McAvoy, that was his name. We used to call him Crackavoy. Hey, McAvoy, I know you're overworked, so I won't talk too bad about you. That was at Florence Federal Prison Camp. I was there. Well, I had 52-month sentence. I got out in 27 months because of the RDAP and the first step back credits kicked in. Anyways, you go to these guys, back up. They're all overworked, understaffed. So when they pass this act, everybody's coming to their door and they have certain hours, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 1 to 2. That's the only time you can talk to them. The big lines at the door when they pass the first step back. Everybody wants to go home early, right? And they would say, case manager, I don't know what to do. Nobody's told us nothing. We could get. So I have no idea. Take some classes, I guess. I guess you get some credits, right? Nobody knew. And this, it was about a year later, I got released and still no credits, no nothing. I was taking the culinary school. I took the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, all this stuff on the wall. I got 38 courses and programs and everything I took. I ain't got no first step back credits for any of them, guys. They just kind of guessed. They didn't know what to do. As I was getting ready to go, they started learning things. So let's say you got a 5-year sentence, all right? So the First Step Act says for every 30 days you do, if you're a nonviolent criminal, 30 days of programming, you'll get 15 days credit towards halfway house or home confinement. It's not off your sentence. Just you'll leave. You don't have to finish all your time at this locked up facility. Now, if you went 7 days a week to a program, so on the weekends, I guess I don't even know if they had programs on the weekend, and you get weekends off in prison. There's some guys they get Tuesday, Wednesdays off because their job, but you don't work 7 days a week, although you can, I think. But you're only going to get credit 5 days a week. But the deal is you only have to do 1 hour a day. Some guys go, well, I'll take 5 classes on Monday because that's my day off from work, and then I'm good for the week. You take 5 classes, but you're only going to get credit for 1 hour. So if you do 10 hours in a day, you just wasted 9 hours. Spread it out. So people started learning that part, right? So let's say weekends don't count. Let's say you get 20 days out of the month that you went to a class, you'll have 10 days off. There's another category for people with some violent stuff. They get 10 days off for every 30 days. They punish them a little. But let's just say all that. You get 10 days off a month. You start building up these credits, right? Well, why? Before this happened, McAvoy would call us in every 6 months for a team meeting, TEAM. And basically, it's like your evaluation, your review. So it's supposed to be the associated warden, the unit manager, who you rarely see, the case manager, and the counselor. Now, counselor is not like a drug counselor or nothing. He's basically the manager of the building. His counseling skills, well, at least Thompson, our one, he didn't. He was getting ready to retire. That's all he cared about. Talking about putting his daughter through school. He's buying her a car. His grandson's going to graduate from here, and he talk about their pension and their house that they're buying. That's all they talk about. Cops too. They just brag and brag and brag. But so when you come in their office and saying, "Hey, man, I got all these first step back credits, and I know it's 10 days, but look, I get 80 credits now, right? So I want those 80 days. I got 80 days credit. I've already signed you up for the halfway house. I told you guys, it's hard to book. It's like booking a hotel. So the halfway house only has so many beds and so many staff members, and they have so many staff that can do the home confinement and go out to watch you, and that's their full time job. So now, say I come in a good shot, I have to call the halfway house. Say I need to change the reservation I had. So instead of July 1st, I need it 80 days ahead of time because he's got these credits. So June, July, oh, it's January, February, March. So 3 months, 80 days. Let's say it's 3 months. So instead of that, he's getting out in May, and right instead of July or September. Anyways, you call the halfway house, and they'll say, "Well, we're full until then. We only accepted him because he wasn't going to be here till July. We don't have no room then." And that's just one of me. 400 other guys come in. I got 82 credits. I got 30 credits. I got this. And he's all, so what's he supposed to sit there? Call every halfway house every day for the 90 something inmates lined up at the door, change their reservation. Now, a month later, they all come back. Hey, I got 12 more credits. So every day he could do that. Every day I said, "Whoa, that's way too much paperwork, phone calls, everything." So what had happened was nobody saw this coming. All the inmates had been there forever. That even if you still had 20 years left to go, they got to calculate their credits. Uh, Everything jammed up, and halfway houses were full. And the prisoners would go, "I got 146 inmates that were supposed to be out 6 months ago, and you guys are still full. We're going to cause, what do I do?" They started just taking time off their sentencing. But on the other hand, prisons didn't have programs. So inmates were complaining about that. So now they passed a rule. Well, if we don't have the program available at that prison, transferring them and all that's too hard. Let's just do a waiting list. Let the prisoner get on the waiting list, but we'll give them credit, even though they're not taking that program for that waiting list. So and they still do that today. But the overflow, imagine, Niagara Falls, and it just, the Hoover Dam busts, it explodes, all that water comes out. Where's it going to go? It's going to run crazy all over the world. So, for one, they're not prepared for this, anyways. I'm going to read on to it, but this is crazy. This inmate.com, which is rumors spread out by inmates, but this is from their webpage, the BOP webpage. I'll even pull that up for you. This is crazy, man. So I'm going to break it down for you guys. I don't want to get your hopes up. I hope that this passes. I mean, it passed, but I hope they can make it doable. I don't see how. Because unless they hire on a hiring spree, where they see the government doesn't own halfway houses; those are third party, those are private ones. Dearson Charities owns the one here in Albuquerque, and they got like 40 of them all over. By the way, the director, Mitchell Anderson of Dearson Charities, that's a federal halfway house here in town in Albuquerque, has been on this channel a couple times. We answered all the questions, because when you get to a halfway house and you come from a camp or low, did you know people from penitentiary, they go there too? Did you know that the Chesters are there all over, and there's way up the hell of them too. You can't talk. If you talk to them in the halfway house, you go back to prison. They get a $5,000 check probably. I don't know. There's all kinds of. And even Rich told me his. I asked him a question about that, and he answered it. I'm surprised he didn't get fired. And if you want to know what he said about it, you got to watch that show. Just go do a search on my channel. Um, anyways, let's break this down, I guess, because I really want to see this First Step Act, you know, work. But like I said in the beginning, I need. They're still not. They're still not doing the paperwork. They're still not doing the paperwork. I just got a call from a guy. Trying to remember which prison it was, where people are dying there. Nobody's getting credit for the First Step Act. Oh, Audrey over in called me from Alderville, Alderman. The woman's I know I'm saying it wrong. The Martha Stewart prison. They weren't giving it First Step Act credits. I hear that all the time. These lazy case managers, I'll call them lazy. They probably work their ass off. We don't think they do because they're always sitting there on their desk typing. But I know they're burnt out. Most case managers have at least 100 inmates on their case. And then you got guys coming and leaving, and they got to do paperwork for that. Right? So I get it. You can't even if you did it once a month. Whenever you guys get new First Step Back credits, on the first of the month, come in and they'll take that off your time. The thing is, you can't keep rebooking your bed at the halfway house. Okay, halfway house, like and then all the other, a halfway house might have inmates coming from 17 different prisons. Now they barely have staff there, and so imagine the front desk reservation. They're not going to change. Mine had 300 inmates. You think they're going to sit there and change reservations every day because Timmy and Johnny and Joey got six more credits, so they need to come in 6 days earlier? I mean, it's still just a mess, man. And to get home confinement, guys, you got to qualify. But like I said, probation doesn't run it. Halfway house down. We had one guy in San Francisco when I got there. There were supposed to be 3 I heard. That does home confinement. So he couldn't do all his rounds like he was supposed to. So people were getting away with stuff. It's understaffed. I just want to figure this out. And I don't see any comments. I wonder why. Not one comment. There's people watching. But let's figure this out, guys. So I explained the first paragraph. It took me an hour, right? This latest policy reinforces the Bureau's responsibility to uphold the law and ensure ensure that eligible incarcerated individuals, particularly those who do not require transitional services at residential reentry centers. So that's another term for a halfway house. So particularly those who do not require transitional services. So in other words, I had nowhere to go. So I required transitional services. There's other guys. I don't want to go halfway house. I got my own place, man. I got my house. I hid all my money in the mountains. I'm good. Can I go live in my cabin? They don't need transitional services. Those are the guys. I'm going straight to home confinement. Like, oh, because we're going to be at the same halfway house. I ain't shit. I'm going straight to home confinement. He gets out, 2 months before me, and I get to the halfway house. Like, oh, how you doing there, mister? I'm going home straight to home confinement. You got out 2 months ago. What, are you just here visiting? I was giving him shit. He didn't go straight to home confinement. You can only do home confinement on 10% of your sentence anyways. Now, they're probably going to change that. Now, what they could do, guys, to make this work is have probation come in on it, but like they have, their caseloads are full too. Hire more people. They got to be trained. How do you do all that? You can hire us inmates to go check on other inmates. No, that would make us snitches. We can't do that. Well, they got a problem, right? So what are they going to do? But I'm saying, let's say they didn't have to be monitored. They just put an ankle bracelet on you. That could be one way. So when you leave the prison, they put an ankle bracelet on you, and you go online to check in with the halfway house. You do it all electronically. So everybody just kind of let them all out, let them get a ride, take a bus, whatever, get to your house, check in online, wear your ankle bracelet. And, the one guy that worked at the 111 Taylor Street, San Francisco Federal Halfway House. The one guy that they hired a second guy, he didn't last. But the one guy that was supposed to monitor, I think he had 40 guys. Now he's got 400. What I just one, I don't know. How does he monitor that? Good luck with that. But you could do it that way. And the ankle bracelet and the honor system and trust them. That would work. But it would work. And they're going to have to do something like that. And because if this is real and they're going to say, okay, now we're going to do the job that we said we were going to do in 2017, 10 years later, right? If they're going to do it, the only way I could see is just give them ankle bracelets, let them run free. Hopefully they don't break a law again. A lot of them probably won't. I'm looking for chat room answers, guys. So, President Trump said he would fight for the forgotten men and women of this country. Oh, and he has. And the First Step Act proved he meant it. He meant it, but they didn't. They're like ducks, deer with headlights. Okay, now we are ensuring that this reform continues to work, not just as a policy, but as a promise to Americans seeking redemption and a path forward. And by the way, when Chuck, when you ever come on the show, guy who's you've been out about a year now, he's trying to get gun rights back for all his felons. You know, we do our time, we pay our debt to society. I forgave myself, but you, the public, have not forgiven me, and you don't even know me. You know, how dare you? But I should get all my rights back, every single one of them. But then, having said that, would that mean that pedophiles get guns back and serial killers and rapists too? So maybe we do draw the line on what type of crime you did. You know, so I think everybody should get their rights back except for psycho serial killers and pedophiles. Any other crime, you get it back. No, there'll be a few. I don't like the pimps that rape women and shit, so they don't get it back either. See, it's confusing. And who am I to judge, right? And I like to point the finger. Don't judge me, but I just judge them. So, anyways, the new directive outlines the following expectations for staff. McAvoy, this is what they expected of you. And Thompson, home confinement is a priority for individuals who are eligible and do not require the structured support of an RRC. RRC placement will be reserved for those with the greatest need, so the ones they don't trust. Because at the halfway house, every time you come and go in the building, you got to take your shoes off, your belt off, everything in your pockets. You get scanned. You got to breathe in a breathalyzer. I even heard now they got a swab, a DNA swabber. They check you for drugs on the DNA swab. They could have done it a long time ago, but those Q-tips are expensive. But now, Joe Biden, Elon Musk probably found that out. They were able to spend money on these Q-tip swabs to check for drugs. But you know what? I'm okay with that as long as it's not $30 million for transgender comic books in Venezuela for all that kind of stuff. Elon Musk, thank you for what you did. I know you have to go do your life, but all your other guys in DOG, thank you guys. Thank you. Check their books. Check them all. That one I could go for. So maybe the halfway house spent $2 million on Q-tip swabs so they could swab every inmate when they come in and out to see if they're dirty on drugs. Even though, I mean, I think let them do drugs. They did their time. But that's money I won't complain about. Okay. But you know, don't get me started. I'm going to do a show on Doge. Right on. But don't get me started on these liberals. They get, the Social Security checks. Yeah, guys are 300 years old. You know how many women I know their husband died and they're still getting the money, and they're not even supposed to. They got kids and people's parents died. They still collect the checks. It's man out on the streets. You know how much fraud is going on, man, and Medicaid fraud, and so they're doing that. So if you got a Social Security check coming, man, and when you get 65 or 62, whatever. They're not touching that, you stupid liberals. You're going to get your money. You're just mad because you guys got caught. And you're still getting caught. Home confinement is a priority for individuals who are eligible. So eligibility means a couple of things. You're nonviolent. Like you said, the chomos and pedophiles and serial killers that go to the halfway house are not eligible for home confinement. Okay? If they are, I don't know how they pull it off. So they require what it calls the greatest need. Okay, so those guys, yeah, they got to go home confinement. And as far as I know, I don't think they can get First Step Act credits. Anyways, they better not give it to those Chesters. Um, and YouTube, I know they're gonna this channel. I'm gonna get violated by YouTube right now because I offended some. Ugh, I offended the Jomos and they're hurt. Okay, use of conditional placement dates. Okay, the unit teams must use FSA. Now, unit teams, when they say unit teams, that's your unit. So I lived in Summit, in Summit unit. There was Teller building, Summit building, Teller building, Summit unit, Teller unit. A unit consists of a case manager, a counselor, a unit manager, and then there's an associate warden that is assigned. No, I'm not associate warden, assistant associate warden. Oh, and then there's one other person when you're getting ready to leave, guys. Somebody help me out with that one. You don't see her till, or our case, it was a woman. You don't get to see her till the last 60 days. So when you finally get that call out to go, oh yeah, she's called like maybe an exit director or something to do with when you're getting ready to leave. And that's all she does is uh, you're getting ready to leave, whatever they call it. So all that's your team unit. Okay, all those staff members. So unit teams must use FSA, First Step Back Credits, and SCA, which is forget which Second Chance Act, because the Second Chance Act was going on long before, and it really didn't do nothing. You're supposed to get, the First Step Act is all, hey, you guys aren't doing a Second Chance Act. The Second Chance Act. So Trump said, I'll bump it up to the First Step Act. We got a phone call. Let's see. Hello, you are live on Federal Prison Talk. Who we got here?
Hey, what's up, brother? Jay.
James, you been watching this show? Me just going off on a tangent?
Oh yeah.
How do you feel about all this, man? Are you getting ready to go are you on pre-trial or anything?
No. I don't know if you remember me or not. I had called you. I want to say maybe a month ago. I was talking to you about my wife. We're trying to figure out how to get a pardon for her.
Oh, dude, you're the one. Yeah. Because check it out. So I got a message from Alice Johnson. I just did a show about her, and my buddy Brian, who he just got a, he swears he talked to her for 2 hours on the phone. He gave me the phone numbers, and I've been waiting to hear back from her. I talked to her assistant, but yeah, man, you turned me on to Alice Johnson, man, and I'm thank you so much, man. That lady's great, and I'm soon. Hopefully I get her on this channel. But yeah, I got to remember your phone number, man, because I didn't write your name down on the phone number and I couldn't remember. Thank you for calling, man. Thank you for telling me about her.
Oh yeah, no worries, no worries. Hey, that's good. That's a good deal that you heard all of that about her. I haven't heard nothing about her, but I've seen what they've been doing in the news lately. I love all of it, but that's a good deal that you got a hold of her or whatever, her assistant or whatever. So
Yeah, the next day I did a little my video like last week. It's all about her, man. All kinds of news clips about her.
I've seen that video.
Yeah, but I want her to say it. Yeah, I didn't see. They passed her right up. It's like it was a 10-minute news story. That's not right. That's not fair.
Oh, you talking about like CNN and all of them?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't. Yeah, I looked on CNN. I couldn't find nothing on her.
Oh yeah, you know that they if it's not Fox News, all the rest of them, they don't anything that's positive, they're not going to air it. And if it is positive, they're going to find a way to spin it to make it negative.
Right. I don't always agree with Fox either, man. I just want to hear both sides.
Right. Yeah. No, I get you.
But
so what's a good deal? Yeah, I was going to ask you if you've seen all about the parties and stuff that they were doing.
Oh yeah, and that's probably why she hasn't been able to get back to me. She's been a little busy. And, I'm nobody, but I don't know. Did you know how you used to call the switchboard at the White House? Brian's probably going to listen to the show. He got right in. He got right through to her. But you call the switchboard, and I just keep calling back a different operator, and eventually they'll connect you with her. You got to word it just right. I want to talk to Alice.
Oh. I need to
But
talk to your buddy Brian, man. That's a once in a lifetime opportunity
yeah,
there.
that's Brian Cody. He just did I think 18 months in Duluth, and then they closed it down, and he's in Alaska. So imagine being on pretrial in Alaska,
Oh,
probation.
geez.
They got to take.
Did he
They
end
got
up getting a pardon, or did he just put one in
no.
for it?
He had a pretty bad deal. I've done a show with him. He got out, but Brian, if you're out there, let us. I can. If you guys wanted to talk to him, I could call him right now. I'll do a three-way phone call, maybe.
Oh, okay, yeah, man. I'm always down to listen to anything. I mean, if he's busy, I understand, but
No, he calls me all the time, man. So let me see if I can do this. I got you on my speakerphone on the computer, and then I got a Google Voice number, and I can make this happen right now. Let's see here. Let's see there.
no, okay.
Just take a minute. He calls me all the time, so I know he's gonna answer.
And brother, I know that you probably don't think that you deserve one, man, but you help out a lot of people, man, and I think that you should probably put one in for yourself too, man. To be honest with you.
Oh, thank you, man. Well, I just helped um a guy named Steve because I don't he doesn't want to say his last name, which I did so I with all these certificates I'm qualified to do the RDAP evaluation forms and letters that people paid like just per perennial charge you $10,000. So I did it for $100
Mhm.
for him, and really I'm not making anything after I pay for the postage and the notarization and all that. But now he's getting into RDAP and he gets his year off his sentence. Um, but yeah,
Oh,
thank you, man. So yeah, anybody else wants
oh
$100,
yeah.
guys? I'll get you into RDAP or call the other guys for $5,000. I've done 8 people and nobody's ever been turned down. So and I have
You know,
all the
speaking of that, man, I looked on it popped up on my what's that app called TikTok. There's this one TikToker, I guess he's like the biggest TikToker for the prison genre called
Okay.
Federal Prison Tips. I don't know if you've
Oh.
heard of him or seen him.
No, but I have to check him out now.
But yeah, man, he's got his own like little, I guess, website, and he I called up there because I seen one of his videos and he was talking about, yeah, I get people clemency and I put pardon applications in. I called
Brian.
up there and they're
Oh, I got Brian on the line. Brian, I'm on live on the show. Another guy called in who told me about Alice Johnson, and I don't know if this is gonna work. Can you hear Brian? I don't think this is gonna work with the audio though. What do you guys? Can you hear it?
yeah, it's kind of hard for me to hear.
Yeah, Brian. Anyways, I got a guy who's calling in. It was his wife that he wanted a pardon for. But I'm live on the show, and I can't do 2 phone calls at once live. I'm sorry, Brian, but I'll call you back later. I'm sorry to bother you. Okay, that's not gonna work. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but he answered. So can you start over?
Oh yeah. Oh, but anyway, I was just saying that there's this one guy called Federal Prison Tips, and he does applications for clemency and pardons for people. And I was reading into it, and I actually called him. I said, "How much is to put a pardon in, for y'all to file the paperwork?" And they told me an astronomical number. I said, "No. I mean, I can do it for free."
It's completely free. I'll put the link up to Alice's website. Completely free, guys. You might pay somebody to fill out the application, but I wouldn't pay him more than $100 at best. you know.
Question: when your buddy Brian talked to Alice Johnson, did he like get some good insight out of her, or did he speak about it too much to you? Or I mean, I ain't trying to pry too hard, but whatever you go.
He says they talked for 2 hours. I don't know about 2 hours, but no, because he's trying to get a pardon, for himself, for his because
Yeah.
he just got out like 3 months ago or something. And he's still on probation.
Mm-hmm.
Brian, I'm not buying the whole 2 hours. Maybe I hope but no.
It might have been an hour and a half or something. He might have, over exaggerated a little bit, but it's all right.
No, it's all right. But what I'm impressed by is Alice takes his call. She didn't let the money go to her head. And if you guys don't know, so she had a life sentence plus 25 years. A life sentence in the feds, guys, is a 30-year sentence. By the way, it's not your life. So she got a life sentence plus 25 years. So that's 55 years she would have to do. They have no more parole, right? She wouldn't qualify for First Step Acts or anything. I think. Oh, with no possibility of parole, right? Basically, she was going to die there, right?
Oh yeah, yep, absolutely.
Yeah. So 5 years later, right? You know, she's got an office at the White House. She is the pardon czar, running this whole department. Huge deal, you know. And if you don't, I know there's a lot of people who don't like Trump, but look, 5 years ago he pardoned her, and he said, "I'm not going to forget you," right? And then, and she started trying to help people while she was out. He didn't forget her. He went back and brought her on TV and said, "I'm giving her a job now, and she can hire her friends too." Anybody, I mean, how can you hate a guy like that, man? I mean, he's not the best husband. I
Oh
get it,
yeah.
but I wouldn't want. I think he's a lousy husband, but he's done some good things, guys.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I tell you, for somebody to even create a position like that, because that was never a position, he created that.
Yeah, it's unheard
So I
of.
mean, yeah, it's like what you said. A lot of people don't like him, but you got to respect stuff like that, because I don't think the Democrats would have ever done anything like that.
No, and if you watch the episode I
Not to
did,
get
he's got her.
political.
He's got her in the Oval Office, and he's bragging about her, to everybody, man. And he's almost crying, and she's crying,
Oh yeah.
because she was sitting there going, "Am I gonna die, on the yard or in my cell? Does anybody care? Like, like you're gonna die there." No, she said there was no possible daydream, no way possible in hell that I would get released, let alone work for the president, right? You know, so quite.
Yeah,
She's.
yeah, definitely.
I mean, that's a miracle. That's a miracle, if you ask me, man. That's God's
Oh
work
yeah.
right there. That's God's work. So if that could
Oh
happen
yeah.
to
Oh
her,
yeah.
anybody watching this, whatever you're facing, if it happened to her, it definitely happened to you, man. Don't give up.
My next question to you was going to be, I know that you were at the camp there at Florence. Were you?
Yeah.
I know you. I watched one of your videos before a while ago in the past, and you were talking about how you delivered the food to the ADX.
Well, no,
I
yeah.
believe.
Well, I worked over at the ADX, so they drove us over in a van, and an inmate drives the van. Okay, they have inmate drivers. So we walk into the parking lot where all the guards park their cars, and they got a little like bus stop thing, and 10 of us get in a van. They had to do 3 or 4 trips. They take us over to the Supermax, and then we're out. We hang out there, and then they call our name, and we got to go through 2 securities and metal detectors and all this stuff. Now we're inside of the Supermax, and there's like warehouse jobs in there. I worked in the food. I worked in the kitchen area, but it was a huge kitchen. And then we go.
Did you ever run into any of the ADX inmates?
Well, no, we could see their feet. We were not allowed to see them, even talk to them, and they only get out of their cells for medical emergencies or court, and that's like it. But we would see, and then 4 guards escort them anywhere. So we would see, 4 sets of legs, and then one in the middle with that 10 legs walking. We hear the shackles, but they had this the hallways. I don't know. They had it all blocked off, so we never got to see them at all. But believe it or not, I had some friends. They worked in the recreation department of Supermax. Now about recreation. So what they did was they sent them like word games and stuff. They had little contests like crossword puzzles, and whoever got it all right would get a free candy bar, stuff like that. But they never got to see each other. You know.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was going to ask you if you ever saw Larry Hoover, who Trump just pardoned as well.
Oh
So,
no, I haven't. There was a guy
yeah.
who's called in on the show though. Was an inmate at the Supermax. A lot of people don't realize um, about 40% of those inmates are going home, even if they have a 25-year sentence. They're going to get released. So a lot of them go
Yeah.
home. Yeah. People don't realize that. But the
Yeah,
last 5 years, you're in a step down unit, and it's still inside of the Supermax, but it's more like a level 4 prison where they have like a little. They got you get out of your cell to a bigger cell, the day room. But that you do that the last 5 years, and that's still part of that lockdown facility. Those inmates we could see. They don't come in and chop it up with us. But
Yeah.
the Unabomber would leave us messages on his tray because we also have to scrape the dirty trays. and the guards would always check the trays, and he would leave us messages and stuff. And he drew a he had a somehow he got a hold of charcoal. And he did a charcoal. People do artists do like like a painting, but of himself, a selfie that he made of himself. I guess in the mirror and stuff, and we got a hold of that in the tray. We fought over that. Everybody wanted it because we were going to sell it on eBay. I didn't get it, but the Unabomber also, the TVs are behind the screen. They got a TV. He found a way to take a wire, hook it to the TV, and turn it into a remote control so he could lay in bed and flick the channels. But what happened is all the power went out in like half of the Supermax that he caused, and I was there when that happened, and everything went on lockdown, and they found out that he made a remote control. He had made it like 2 weeks ago, but it started to rain and water touched the wires, and so I mean things happen. I know 3 ways to escape from there. It's an inside job, but it's not a foolproof prison.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, man. But I tell you what, if whenever you get off live here, if I can reach back out to you, you can connect me with Brian, man. I'd really appreciate that if you're able to, man.
No, he just
You
called
know,
back and messaged. Yeah, I know he'd love to talk to you. Brian likes to help people, and he's up there in Alaska in the middle of nowhere, dude. So not much contact with humans. I mean, there's no big cities up there. I think there's a village near him that has 40 people in it or something like that. I will. I got your
okay,
number here, and I'll exchange numbers here for both of you guys when I'm done. And I don't
okay,
want them to see
okay.
your phone number, but nobody
Yeah,
they
yeah,
can't
yeah,
they,
absolutely.
they can't tell. But yeah, and tell your wife I said hello. And how's it going with her?
Oh, everything's good. Right now, we're just working on the application. It's not really a lot to do, but it is at the same time. And we're just working on it, trying to get letters of support right now. That's the big thing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, when you deal with a situation like that, it's not really something that you want too many people to know. Only people you really want to know are the people that are closest to you, like family and stuff. And in the application, it states specifically the letters of support that you can have cannot be from your spouse or family.
So then you
So,
got to let somebody
you
know.
know,
And
exactly.
yeah,
So
that's
then you
kind
got
of
to
that's a catch 22, huh?
yeah, exactly. So, right now we're having to, there's a couple people that do know, and
Put
so,
me down. I'll
but
write.
something
Hey,
like,
put me down for a letter, dude. I'll put me down. I'll write a letter. If
oh,
they,
okay.
I mean, if I'm credible, I don't know if they think I'm credible, but
In the application it says that certain people will get reached back out to for additional interviews and stuff like that. So,
I got all these
and this
certificates,
one,
and I'm actually a certified certified mental health clinician and substance abuse coordinator for the Department of Mental Health of New Mexico. That's what one of these says. I had to go back to college to get that, so I am.
oh, okay, good deal, man.
It's
Like
called
I
it's
said,
called a
man,
pure.
you should really think about putting yourself in for one, man. I know that you something that you deserve to do that, be there and do all that time, but at the same time, hey, you did your time. It's over with. Now it's time to put it behind you. You're helping other people. So
Yeah,
it's not like you're still doing it.
I don't want a pardon. Pardon's never my criminal history. I use it. I'm a peer support worker is what that is, and they bill Medicaid for thing. But no, I'm not proud of what I did. But that's the first thing you see on my resume. I put down I've been to prison. I've been homeless. I've been a drug addict. I was molested when I was 5. That's the first thing on my resume. So I screen you first. So I've never let my criminal past haunt me or stop me from a job, and so I don't need a pardon. Give it to somebody else who needs it, man. I just don't, man.
Yeah,
I don't need it.
like my wife, she's trying to go into the medical field, and right when they do that background check, boom,
No,
you see that she gets rejected every time. And
oh,
I tell you,
okay.
she's done gotten like 6 degrees since she's been home, man. It's still been a struggle,
My
an
buddy
upward
Jason
struggle.
Brown just became a nurse, and he was in longer than me. There's Zach from he's got a channel. He's becoming a doctor now. It's what's it called? Prison life. I can't remember the name of his channel, but he's been on here. I'll find out. He's about to become a doctor. So and these guys have more felonies than I do. So I don't know what state she's in, but that's not. Don't let that shouldn't stop people.
Right, right.
What
Yeah, I have
state
to
is
look
she
into
in?
that. Yeah, we're located in Texas. We're in the
Oh,
Dallas DMV area.
right. That explains everything. Texas. I mean, yeah, Texas. I mean, it'll be the last state to make marijuana legal if they even. Yeah, Texas is its own country.
Oh,
Yeah, that.
100%, man. Get this. Get this. Texas just made it illegal for not only marijuana's always been illegal, but what is it? Any kind of THC product is what how they worded it is illegal. They just passed that into office too. So Texas and Tennessee, I think are the two that they'll be the last two to do it. Yeah, they're not playing with that.
Yeah, I mean, is it still 6 months for a roach of marijuana in Texas? I mean, they just don't play. I. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
that
I'll tell you
explains
a
why.
story one time. I'll tell you a story one time. I got an older brother. He's changing his life now, but at the time he was a career criminal, man. I tell you. But he had got caught with a roach in his dash in his little cup holder of his car, and they gave him like 6 years probation for that.
Wow.
And he ended up he was on probation for that, and he was like, "I'm going to Ohio. I'm leaving. I'm going to Ohio." So he just left going to Ohio. He was knee deep in addiction. And once you know most states, they won't extradite you over something small like that.
Right.
But
No,
Texas came and got him all the way from Ohio.
yeah. See, I hear horror stories about Texas. That's yeah. No wonder. I don't think you can even vote in Texas unless you got restitution paid off. You're off probation. They make it hard for everything. That's why she can't. So that's what's stopping her in the medical field out. It's Texas law.
Oh yeah,
If she
Texas
wants
got
to
some
be a
weird laws.
doctor,
Don't
man,
put
there's probably I'm going to
no.
say at least 43 states that'll take her as a doctor. Move, guys. I don't know what to tell you, man.
Yeah, man, like Texas, they'll give you jail time for unpaid parking tickets.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's crazy out here. I mean,
Brian,
I love it, but at the same time, man.
Brian's on here on watching the show, and he says for the first one he's got the paperwork you need, and I know of 8 cons that got their DEA licenses back.
Okay.
I got a friend
Looking at
Adam
that.
Oki. He's got let's see, I think he has 26 felonies. He's a lawyer now on billboards. He's like the real Saul Goodman. He was a drug dealer and a drug enforcer and all that. But he cleaned up his act. He was an MMA fighter for a while. Cleaned up his act, got sober, went to college, found out a felon could become a lawyer, and now he's like he's doing phenomenal. Now he's been a lawyer for 5 years. He did family law and stuff. He wanted to do criminal. Now he switched to criminal because he goes, I can't be a criminal lawyer the first day because all these guys sent me to prison and to jail. So I'm going to wait a little while. But now he's man. So anything's possible, man, except if you're in Texas.
Yeah, man. Like I said, we're still trying to get that pardon. I just got a letter back from her sentencing judge. I'll read it to you. Give me 1 second. Let me find it. I know it's right here. Yeah, I had sent her a sentencing judge a letter asking for a meeting that so we can talk about it.
Do you think Texas will honor the pardon?
If it's by the president, yeah, they should.
Okay, but that's going to be a fight there probably too with Texas.
Her sentencing judge, I got it right here. Her sentencing judge, because we planned on putting this in the pardon paperwork, but her sentencing judge said, I received your recent correspondence regarding your post-incarceration achievements. Congratulations on all you have done. However, I decline your invitation to meet and to involve myself in your efforts to seek a presidential pardon. If I'm contacted by the pardon office, I will have no opposition and will take no action against best wishes.
Whoa!
I guess.
Yeah, I gotta get your phone number. Brian, I want him. Yeah, call him after this, and I just been getting a message or two, but he's got a way to get a hold of her. Sound your wife? Yeah, you need Alice Johnson's help, and I know she'd be glad to help you guys.
Yeah, I mean that letter from the judge. I mean, it wasn't a bad one, but at the same time, it wasn't the best either. So, I
Yeah,
mean, she
I
said that she
know.
wouldn't take she wouldn't pose no threat to it. So,
I know, but she's got to put that in there. Like, don't you know who I think I am? I'm your god, right? Wow. You know what
yeah,
I mean? It's, how pompous? How pompous is that letter? You know? Wow.
yeah, yeah. So, yeah, like I said, we've been trying to get letters of support, and we were trying to get one from her sentencing judge, and that's what we got back. So, I'm not even
Man.
gonna argue with you. You know, dealing with a federal judge, ain't nothing
Yeah,
but that. So,
I know.
yeah,
I
yeah.
know.
So.
I know, man. It's
Oh yeah, we reached out to our local congressman. Man, I've talked to his secretary and his staff and everybody, and I've given them everything they wanted, and that was like a month ago. Still haven't heard anything back from him, and he's like a Trump supporter all day long. He's full Republican, but
what?
dealing with
What?
congressmen, man.
Yeah. What about Marco
Yeah,
Rubio? He's Texas, right?
I didn't ever. I don't even. Is he? Might be.
I think. Oh, it might have been Florida. It might be Florida.
Yeah, I think it's Florida. Yeah, I know his son goes to. I think the Florida Gators goes to that
Yeah.
school.
Oh.
So yeah, it might be Florida.
Well, we're gonna get Alice. Anybody out there too, man? We need Alice. We need her help.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Hey,
And
hey,
I'll bring
what's
her
your first
letters,
name
man.
again?
Plenty of letters.
What's your first name again, man? Hello?
Can you hear me?
No. Oh, you.
Yeah, Jake.
Jake. Okay, because when I call for the phone number, I don't want your last name, and I just so when I call you back, I just want to put your name next to the phone number.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. Yeah, man, but I didn't want to take up too much of your lives, man.
Man, I'm just
Just
wasting
whenever.
time. I don't even know. I
Okay.
don't. I had nothing planned. I just saw this press release, and I go, I'll just read on the air and see what happens. So now you're not wasting my time. Matter of fact, I'm here. I'm live on two different channels. I don't know if you found me on Federal Prison Talk or that other channel, that Earth is Primitive channel. Which one did you watch me on?
Federal prison talk.
Okay, because that other channel is actually bigger than Federal Prison Talk. I was going to do shows on UFOs and stuff, but it never happened, and I just started running these shows on both channels. That one's booming. I don't know what happened, man. Maybe they think they're going to find UFOs, but then they still watch my stuff. I get more calls from that channel now. You never know.
No,
I
really.
still I'm still going to try to do the Bigfoot and UFO and all that on there sooner or later.
Oh yeah, you're living over there in Albuquerque, so I'm sure you're in the right spot for all of that.
Yeah.
I hear about a lot of UFO sightings out there.
Oh man, I could already tell you. And everybody out here is, there's portals and all that the crazy stuff you hear, but it's not. Is it all? Is it crazy?
Right, right. I mean, what
Roswell,
was it when the Trump?
Roswell, New Mexico, where the plane, the UFO crashed.
Yeah, what was it? Trump's first term is when they actually started acknowledging that there was UFOs. Before the government was saying that there was none of that.
Oh yeah, and now they
So,
finally say they'll admit there's water on Mars. Now they're slowly getting there.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm a little bit of a conspiracy theorist. I think we have like a little alien somewhere, man. I wouldn't doubt it, man. He's probably hidden in one of these like military bases somewhere, man.
Well, check it
I
out.
know
We
that. I know
landed.
that there was a. Oh, go ahead.
We landed on the moon 50 years ago. The great space race, and after we went there, or we didn't go there, but nobody went next. Russia, Japan, France, they were all trying to get first place. Nobody ever went back. Then we tear down the space shuttle program. I think we landed there and somebody said, "No, go back. You're not welcome here. How the hell did you get up here in that tin can, anyways?" And I think that's why we just shut down our whole space program. You know.
I mean, yeah, that's if we even landed in the first place. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know. That might have been like something they just might have lied to us about or
Okay, so
something.
why give up the space shuttle program? So for all the other countries are in? All right, we're going to cover up your lie too. I mean, well, answer me this: name one day in the history of this planet, as far back as you know, there was a day without a war. Name one day with no war. Gotcha. Right? Who wants to land here?
Yeah.
Who wants to come visit this place? You can't, right? The best answer I heard was the first day. Later that night, I don't know what happened,
Right. Yeah.
but I mean, that's a hell of a question. You know, a war could be two people or two countries, but name one day there was no war here in somewhere on the planet. Can
Yeah.
you? I mean, you'd be guessing if you did. Maybe there wasn't one in the 14th century. Who knows, right? But you see, I asked that question, and it's a great question to ask people. Makes you think.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Makes you
Oh
think,
yeah.
man.
100%. 100%. Yeah, man. Don't get me started, man. We'll get going forever, man. I like a good conspiracy, man. We'll be over here talking about 9/11 and everything else.
See, well, then maybe you're the guy to help me boost this. This it's called Earth is Still Primitive, Not Allowed in Space. That's the whole name of that channel, and it's bigger than this federal prison talk now.
Oh yeah. Yep, yep, yep. But anyways, brother, I'm gonna get up off here. But just reach out to me whenever you get done, man, and we'll do what we talked about. And yeah, man, we'll still talk. I just don't want to take up too much of your life.
Okay,
And I'm
I'm
actually
gonna I'm
cooking
gonna
right now,
text
so I'm gonna get me some
Brian's
food
number to
real quick.
you and your number to Brian, and just I can't do it while you're on the phone, but yeah, and anybody who's still hanging in here, thanks, I appreciate that. If you're still watching me, get a life. No, just kidding, but appreciate it, man.
Oh yeah, no worries.
I'm just probably gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna finish what this last paragraph or two is, but all right, he's gone, and thank you, man. So let's see where I was here at the end of this. So you never know, man. I always wanted to be a talk show host. I used to listen to talk shows when I was growing up as a kid. Yeah, I listened to KGO radio, and I listened to Art Bell, and I listened to. There was a guy named Ray Taliaferro, and he was the biggest liberal there ever was. But I listened to him, right? And then I would listen to Rush Limbaugh. Both sides, guys. I want to hear both sides. But I 14 years old. I'm hooked on AM talk radio. All the other kids are listening to music. I didn't find out till I was 16. But honestly, individualized referral process. Decisions will be based on each person's needs, support systems, and readiness for reintegration. So that takes time to figure out what their needs are, right? This directive builds on the success of the First Step Act. On the success of the First Step. Well, it is successful, the First Step Act, but it's not being played through like it's supposed to be because people are not getting their credit. You got counselors and case managers and all that not doing the paperwork for the inmates, and they're still held back at their prison. Because I've been doing, 3 years of programming. I should have, 180 days off my time to go to the halfway house. And counselor, you got 12 credits, dude. No, I've given you all the paperwork. So you submit a BP 108, BP, these grievance forms, and I've seen, I've looked in over the bubble in some of these offices. I've seen grievance reports in the trash. Okay, guys at the prison do this recycling, and they take the big dumpsters and they take them to the dumps. And so his name was Alaska. He was my cellie for a while. Hey, tell me when he empties out the truck at the dumps, all these grievance forms are there. They're not supposed to be in the trash, dude. They're supposed to be saved for like 7 years. So that's what's wrong with the First Step Act is the inmates are doing their part, the staff's not, and this little press release is going to change all that. Well, let's see. You're going to need more than that. Don't put money on it. That just makes it worse. Home confinement is a priority. Use of conditional placement dates. So yeah, and I got into the placement dates. So you're set to leave. Every like I said, the case manager cannot sit there every week or every month. You come in, I got 19 more credits. Can you take that off my sentence? Yeah, let me call the halfway house. Let me make arrangements. Oh, your home confinement. Let me call the halfway house. The home confinement date's changed for John. Can you get, is he, well, let him know that he's got to open up 19 days earlier for John. Well, he's not out for 2 more years, but I got to make the arrangements. And then every week he's going to call and change the date and change the date and change the date. And there's 80,000 inmates locked up right now, at least, that are getting the First Step Back credits. How do you do that math? So I think they do it every 6 months now, and even still, with all the other stuff these guys do. Clarification of statutory authority. Staff must distinguish between FSA and SEN second chance eligibility criteria, applying time credits appropriately and understanding the limits of each limit. The limits. Understanding the limits of each statute, particularly when determining duration of pre-release custody. There is no restriction concerning how many FTCs may be applied toward home confinement. I get, oh, so I guess that's changed. It was only, you get a 10-year sentence, you can only do 1 year home confinement, 10% of your sentence. Here, it's, you can have as much home confinement as FTCs are. So if you're going to get 15 days for every 30, let's say you've been there 3 years, you're going to have a year and a half worth of FTCs, which you could trade in for home confinement. In other words, it's not going to be 10% anymore. It's going to be that changes things. That helps. Although, again, who's going to monitor these people that go to home confinement? You're just going to give them an ankle bracelet and let them run around like free range chickens? That's really the only way I can see. Or you hire a whole bunch of people to monitor them. So, like I said, Halfway House runs the home confinement program. We had one guy, 300 inmates, in charge of every. They're supposed to have three. They said that would still even be enough. They hired a second guy. He didn't last. And that one guy, he finally quit too. I think for a minute there, they had none. So what they did was they took the director of the halfway house, or the assistant director. There was two ladies. They had to go do the job for them, so they were never in the halfway house because the director's covering the whole confinement, home confinement program right now until they find somebody to do home confinement. It's a mess. So I don't see a solution here. I see what I like. All this is great, but how are you gonna make it happen? So I hate to let you down. I think it's going to get worse before it's going to. Let's say hire a bunch of people, or just put them on ankle bracelets. Maybe not even ankle bracelets. Just let them go home and trust that they're gonna, because you're still an inmate when you're on home confinement. Even the first step back, you're still an inmate. You don't have to sleep at the prison. You can sleep at your house. You're an inmate still. Okay, I mean you're not on probation. You're an inmate. Big difference. Okay. Um, This directive is a critical step toward continuing that legacy. And Donald Trump. I'm totally for him, but I don't even know if Donald had something to do with this. And I love this idea. That what they're trying to do is make them do their job. Well, they've been trying to since 2017. They haven't done their job. How's this going to change anything? So be careful. I heard Justin Paperny's out there sending emails out to watch this, and he's going to one of his another scams to get money out of you. Okay, the guy Justin and Michael Sanders, you guys both need to go back to prison. I keep getting calls from people you extort. You call them every other day. You email them. I want $10,000. You're not going to get an RDAP. You won't get your designation. You won't be allowed to have visitors unless you give me this money. And you pay a service to clean all your dirt off the internet. And I need to record these calls that I get. But I've had over 100 calls since I've been doing this show, and I know 3 or 4 people when I did time that you're still extorting. Okay, you remember Jason Min, Korean guy, him and his father, right? You tried to get $10,000. His father spoke Korean, and you said you could get him an RDAP, and he wouldn't pay. He said, "I don't have that kind of money." Then you told him every day, if you don't give me 10,000, your father will never do RDAP. I'll make sure of it. You told him that every day for like 8 months. Jason Min, you remember? His father, I think, was, I don't know the father's name, but it was David Min. David Min and Jason Min, and you more than extorted them. You need to go back to prison. Okay, my message.